The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Huth.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun. And today is a very special episode because it is Cedar Fair Announcement season.
There's a lot of fun going on.
But before we get into that,
a lot.
It looks like our announcer maybe missed a co-host. Who's with
what?
you, Evan?
So we don't have a name. I literally didn't even pick up on that joke either. I'm like, what? Just anyways. Yeah, we don't have a name for him yet, but
what is it? Because people are listening, so they can't. Yeah. This is
a podcast, and you remember this is a seagull that has the Cedar Point logo on his chest, and he's got a French fry in his mouth, kind of like the Squishmallow that Kyle had early on Steve. Yeah. So
maybe that could be Larry, or you know what? Maybe we should throw it to our fans and have them name it.
Yes. What is the name of Evan's seagull friend?
There you go.
And
cool.
I don't want anything stupid. I want it like somewhat related to Cedar Point, like not like Blueberry or something.
Yeah. I think Larry.
Oh.
Larry and Steve. I think that's a good.
That's not Cedar Point related, buddy.
Jungle Larry's. It is.
All right. Boom. All right.
There you go.
So Carson's the front runner, right?
Yeah, there it is. Jungle Larry's.
So here's for those. Yeah.
Well,
for you guys, here's the seagull. Here's his feet. Really cute.
He is very
Give me
cute.
a name.
$20 in the gift
now. He's gonna fly now. We're gonna talk about Wild Mouse.
Yeah.
Lots of coasters.
First up on the Cedar Fair announcement list is Cedar Point, who announced this morning a new area of the park, or a revitalized area of the park called the Boardwalk, with an anchoring attraction of a Wild Mouse coaster.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We can finally say what it is. Like, obviously we didn't know what it was, but we could finally talk about me like, hey, this is finally, what this area is, and not just being like, I don't know, since, we had no idea. And
yeah, we knew there was a building. We just didn't know anything beyond that.
Right. We didn't know if the building was going to be like a dark ride. I mean, obviously there was leaks of, it being whatchamacallit, the Grand Pavilion,
and the food and the second story bar and all that, which I didn't really gather.
I didn't know, because like we were watching the progress and we were seeing, everything getting laid out, and I wasn't seeing any piping. For like,
yeah, I remember you and I were saying that
toilets, you have to have all of that stuff if you're going to have it be like a giant restaurant, and we weren't seeing any of that. All we were seeing was just sand and steel. So
yeah, well, we know what it is now. I'm excited for when they announce the menu, and
that'll be exciting. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, so that's going to be the big food area to eat at, and then they announced that, was it Matterhorn and Scrambler were getting moved from their current locations over to the previously called Lakeside Midway, but now
the Boardwalk.
Yeah, just the Boardwalk.
Right. And don't forget, they are renaming Scrambler. It is
now
the Atomic Scrambler, which I don't understand that one.
What a fun name. Okay.
And Tiki Twirl is also now Calypso again.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that, though. That'll be something fun to look forward to, especially. So my thing is I was a little sad, I guess you could say, that there were older rides moving over to that Boardwalk, but I think it kind of makes more sense because they want it more. Obviously they're adding a new, the Wild Mouse, but I think it kind of fits the theme because they're wanting it to be more older and more of a throwback to everything that's supposed to be like kind of old-fashioned-y kind of thing. So
I wish in that sense, though, I was thinking it too. I'm like, why don't they put in I don't even know. I'm sure there's some company out there that would try their hand at making like a whip ride,
right?
Or a paratrooper, or I don't know. We already have a Flying Aces, but you know what I mean? I wish they would have gone that route instead of just moving. But I have a feeling that they have something up their sleeves with moving those rides from where they were.
Yeah, I mean, that opens up a big kind of plot of land. I know immediately behind where Matterhorn is kind of the costume, or not costume shop, but employee ward.
Like the laundromat?
It's like,
I think that's the laundromat, and I believe that's
it's wardrobe too. There's a maintenance bay back there. There's employee wardrobe. That's where corporate is. So they don't have a ton of room to work with, but it does open a nice little plot.
I mean, yeah.
What if they rip out Corkscrew?
Yeah, but Corkscrew is so... It's such
I'll be honest, I hate that ride, but it would be missed seat. Like, you can't have a Cedar Point Midway without it.
I'm not even...
$1 million Midway without it.
I'm not even thinking about the ride here, the ride experience. That ride itself is just so, like, narrow and compact. You know what I mean? Like, it goes over top everything. Yeah. So I don't...
You know what else is narrow? A single rail.
You're right, but
we're starting the 2026 or 7 rumors.
Or it could be 2024.
Will Cedar Point put one of those in though? Because that's, I mean, hell.
No.
I mean,
I think so.
Railblaze.
I honestly do. I really think so. I do.
It sounds like one's going to come up for grabs here once Great America closes shop.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, Kyle, you and I have written that. I feel like that one's almost too wide to go there.
I think it is too.
Jersey Devil, maybe? I don't know.
I've never been on that.
Oh, okay. It's not going to be a clone. It's going to be.
What about? So what? I was thinking about this today. What about if they put a dark ride there?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it would
a big, just giant warehouse building. It would be fit. It could fit like right over there. They can get rid of the restrooms. They can get rid of, they can get rid of some of maybe those food areas. Maybe they'll get rid of, our haunted house that we used to work at. Maybe they could do something like that over there, and boom, you got that huge plot of land. And then I was also thinking a little bit further down the road. I was like, okay, so if they get rid of Snake River Falls or the I can't remember the other water ride's name.
Thunder Canyon.
Thunder Canyon. Hello, that could be a perfect area for a flume for coming in like 2030.
Well, that's a long ways away, but we still haven't really talked about this Wild Mouse coaster.
I know. Yeah. Okay, so I want to say I am so happy that Cedar Point's getting this Wild Mouse, because they have been missing a Wild Mouse funky whatever kind of ride, whatever you want to call it. They have been missing that from their
since Wildcat.
Since Wildcat's been gone, and
they have.
I'm sorry. I love, like, anytime I see a Wild Mouse, I want to ride it. I think they're fun. And this is like the brand new version of a Wild Mouse. It looks fun.
I don't exactly love Wild Mice coasters, but this is a new model from Zamperla, correct?
It's a prototype model too from Zamperla, first of its kind.
Ooh, Cedar Fair doing prototypes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but like for a spinning mouse coaster, this thing looks like it's got a like pretty solid little layout. Like it's going to be a fun ride.
If you look at the dip from the first drop, and then you go right up on like where it starts becoming like a traditional Wild Mouse,
you're gonna be spinning like crazy, dude.
There, that looks like that's gonna be a good pop of airtime.
And it's free spinning throughout the entire ride, I believe. Well, besides the lift hill. And
also to follow it up, I love I kind of a little bit going back and forth. I love Wild Mouses, but I'm not a big fan of the let's go left, let's go right, let's go left, let's go right, and so on. To where this only has a few like left and rights, and then
you'll already be spinning, and it's a little less dramatic with that.
And
it's
also,
gonna be a fun ride.
And also, Tony said in the press release, he said, it's gonna be great when you have more riders or less riders, because you're gonna have a different ride every single time because of the weight difference and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'll tell you, when I was at Kennywood this weekend and we rode Exterminator.
I love that ride.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Goodness. Yeah. It was just, one person on one side, another person on the other side. There's 2 of us in a car, and we were spinning like crazy.
Yeah.
That was probably the best ride I've had on this. Not even just Exterminator, just a spinning mouse coaster in general. So I don't know. I'm excited. And looking at the renderings, I don't know how accurate those end up being in the end. If you look at like Maverick's old like announcement video, a lot of that theming didn't make it into the ride. But if Cedar
Point has been pretty good with like if you see it the whatever. The normally it kind of and most likely.
But this looks like the whole area is going to look incredible.
Yeah,
I know the building, the what are they calling it? The Grand Pavilion.
Grand Pavilion.
I know that's kind of blocking out the lake a little bit down there, but not any more than the Ferris wheel already does, in my opinion.
right.
No.
And the rest of it is so nice and open.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to walk like basically right up against the actual boardwalk outside the park. It looks like if you look really close.
And then if you look at really close at the pictures with the wild mouse, if you like zoom into them, it looks like it's like they're actually cheese, like the cheese.
There's one car that's cheese themed. I think that said that somewhere.
Oh, is there one car that's?
I think it said 6 mice themed cars and then 1 cheese.
Cheese car, yeah. Can't forget the cheese car.
That's
so
cool.
that's going to be a nice little. Oh,
That's
I got
cool.
the cheese car on the wild mouse.
That's cool. They'd be like, "Oh, I got the record cheese." Yeah, that's
and
cool.
the entrance is not the same, but very similar to the entrance like arch that the original Wild Mouse coaster at Cedar Point had.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
saw
kind
that
of
in
cool.
the video. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then also, it's really good for like it's a family ride. Like you can be,
and it's right next to Planet Snoopy too.
Right, you could be
a good
alone
addition.
and ride with 48, or if you're 42 inches, tall, you have to obviously be with your you're an adult kind of thing, which is nice though because a lot of kids can ride it.
It's perfect. I think it's a really good addition.
Well, and pretty much anybody in the family can ride it, whether you're 7 or 77. I mean,
yeah,
it's not a super high thrill. I don't know do we know what the height requirement is on this thing?
No, I don't think they've announced it yet.
It's 48. 48
really?
Is it actually?
Yeah, that's what I said. It's 48 to ride alone, or it's 42.
Oh, okay.
Did they really already announce that?
Yeah.
48
and
seems
the height, and the coaster height is 52 feet. If anybody's interested.
48 inches seems a little tall, but I guess 42 if you're gonna ride with family is fine.
Does their website even have anything about this yet?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, there it is.
You have to learn.
Yeah. Learn more. There it is. Okay. Yeah. 52 feet.
I don't know if
1,312.
Yeah, I don't know.
track.
Is that like one of the longer? It feels like maybe one of a longer.
I could look up.
I don't know. I mean, we were talking about Exterminator at Kennywood. That ride feels like it goes on forever. That feels like a long ride.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up really quick.
I mean,
no, I don't need Terminex. I need.
Either way, it might not be the record-breaking.
How much is ours?
Junkie. How much is what?
1,312 feet.
Yeah.
Exterminator's longer. 1,377.
Okay.
Anyways,
it might not be the highest or the tallest or the fastest thing out there, but at the end of the day, everybody was asking for a roller coaster. We got a roller coaster.
And it's going to be a solid little ride.
It's going to be a solid little ride. It's going to fit into that area of the park. Great. It's going to revitalize a section of the park that's been kind of abandoned for years. I mean, ever since Gatekeeper.
On the posts that are like, oh my gosh, like why did they get rid of Wicked Twister for this? I'm like, they got rid of Wicked Twister because nobody was riding it. Like this is going to have a line.
In perspective. Let's put this in perspective. Wicked Twister had one train that fit 30 people, 32
30
people?
or 32. I can't remember.
And even on the busiest days, it had like a 20-minute wait.
Evan, let's take it a little bit further. When they announced that they said, hey, Wicked Twister's closing forever.
The line didn't even increase.
The line wasn't there until like the last day, but that was just to get
a button.
A button. And that was like, so I'm sorry.
And the ride was constantly broke. This will have good uptime. Yes. I am concerned about the capacity. Like, I remember Wildcat constantly having a long line, but like, whatever.
Wild Mouses and Wildcats and whatever else you want to call them, they always have a line. But at least it's moving consistently.
Also, everybody that goes into that park is not going to ride Wild Mouse.
No.
Well, I could see Grandma and Grandpa's coming off the beach, if they just want to do the beach, having one of those gold passes or something, coming in off the beach and being like, hey, let's go get a quick ride on the Wild Mouse, and then let's go
the Matterhorn and the Scrambler, and
and then let's go home.
Get some food.
Or if we're staying at Breakers, it's going to be let's go get tanked at that new Grand Pavilion bar.
Right. Yeah.
We need to talk about that. God. Okay, wait a minute. That's a problem. We're going to have people getting absolutely whatever term you want to use at that bar, and then going and riding not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4, 5, 6 spinny rides in that 7. Max Air, Troika, Calypso, Matterhorn, Scrambler, Wild Mouse, and Windseeker. We're gonna have a lot of guest filmness.
Someone did ask. They were like, "Well, wait, you guys didn't mention Max Air." Tony on Twitter said that Max Air is staying. So
yes,
everybody.
But yeah, so that's a lot of spinny rides in that area.
Yeah, but I imagine if Indiana Beach doesn't have an issue with their, like, I don't know what they call it, but drunk fest essentially, and the rides.
10-cent beer night.
Yeah, 10-cent beer night or whatever. I don't think they'll have a problem here.
No.
I also imagine that the bar is probably going, like, if it's going to be accessible to the hotel guests after the park closes, I don't imagine it's open all day. You know, I bet it opens at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. If that's the case,
it'll probably open at like 4. Otherwise, it'll probably be like, 12 to 9 or something.
So
maybe.
That was Cedar Point, and next up on the list was my personal favorite announcement of the day because it was by my favorite manufacturer, but Worlds of Fun.
Yes.
Oh, this is such a win. This is so awesome.
GCI Titan Track. Is it Zambezi Zinger?
I think it's Zambezi.
Zambezi Zinger, something like that.
Ask the people down in Columbus. There's a water park. Oh no, it's Zoombezi.
Yeah.
I think it's Zambezi, Zoombezi. Yeah.
Anyway,
whatever.
it's something Zinger.
Well, this is also talking about prototypes. This is another prototype.
Again, Cedar Fair.
So here's the thing. I mean,
this is the full version.
This is the first full one.
This is the first full one. It debuted on Prowler, Wolverine Wildcat, right?
It first happened at
Darien.
Fun Spot.
Oh, yeah, it happened.
White Lightning.
Fun
It
Spot.
was like
You're supposed to know this.
A track segment, right? It wasn't like the full.
Yeah, and I think that was the case with
Fun Spots was
Wolverine
only
Wildcat.
Fun Spots was only like a 20-foot section, just as a proof
And
of
then
concept.
Wolverine Wildcat was a little bit more.
Yeah,
Red
it
River was a little bit more.
Yeah, Fun Spot debuted during IAPA a couple years ago, since all the amusement people were in town. It was like a proof of concept.
Is Fun Spot just like an IAPA proving ground or something?
Oh, pretty much, because it's the closest park to the convention center. I mean,
that's not Universal.
That's not Universal or Disney or SeaWorld.
Yeah. All right, fair.
That's where all the after parties happen, and anytime like a manufacturer has like a celebration, that's where it happens.
That's cool.
Plus, there's 2 of them. There's one in Kissimmee and one in Orlando. So, but
that's cool.
Back to Worlds of Fun. I am so excited for this thing. Like I said,
finally a new coaster for them since 2009.
Another GCI too. What? How many parks have 2 GCIs?
And they're like right next door to each other.
Yeah.
Too. Like the only park I can think of that is 2 GCIs is, well, not anymore, Hershey Park with Lightning Racer and Wildcat. Well, okay, they still have 2 because Lightning Racer's whatever. But this is gonna be so good, and it's gonna be so smooth, and it's gonna be
really nice for their 50th anniversary.
Yeah, and I love the callback or whatever you want to say to the original Zambezi Zinger with the spiral lift and.
Oh, I love that spiral lift.
And then the wrap around the lift. The part of the ride goes around it. I mean, that's the only similarities really.
I think the only, unless they were trying to like be really super similar with it, like the only thing I was expecting is maybe a little inversions, maybe.
I think they want to take it easy this first one. Also,
but that's okay though too, you know.
I believe it's using Zambezi Zinger's old station or queue line or something.
Oh, that's.
Did they say something like that?
I don't know.
And then my other question was, won't the trains on this be first of their kind as well? This is because doesn't GCI have new generation trains?
They
got track specifically.
New Infinity Flyer trains.
There we
Infinity Flyers.
Yep.
So that'll be cool too.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this ride. I think it's going to be so fun.
It's got 2 trains. I've never been to that park, so hopefully next year I could possibly go.
When you 2 go, let me know and I'll fly out there and meet you.
Let's go.
I feel like the flight to Kansas City can't be that expensive.
I feel like a drive is pretty easy too.
It's a long drive.
It's probably
From
my house to St. Louis is 8 hours.
Yeah, you're right.
Where I lived in Ohio to Worlds of Fun was about 10.5 hours. It wasn't hard, it was just long.
And boring. It was a boring drive.
Yeah, not much. Yeah.
You get through Indianapolis and it's just like oof.
But yeah, no, I love it. It's good stuff. They're talking about the similarities. They were saying, you know, the low to ground track or whatever through the trees is kind of like a similarity thing.
The wrap around the lift hill.
The section is using. It says they're using the same location at the heart of the African location of the park,
Mm-hmm.
Mid-course tunnel, which will catch riders by surprise.
Well, not anymore.
You just ruined it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the website. I'm sure there'll be more stuff of surprises too.
It's funny, if you look at Google Maps and where this is going, you could see literally a square plot of land or plot of trees. It's like, well, that's where Zambezi Zinger is going.
Yeah. I'm excited though. Like I said, it's since 2009 they haven't had a coaster.
Oh yeah,
so
you weren't lying,
awesome.
Evan. Yeah.
You
weren't
Google
lying.
Maps, yeah. It's really funny. It's like really obvious. What was I going to say?
Did they announce any new flats with this thing, or is it just the roller coaster?
No, it's just this.
Just the coaster.
Is that? But they also said that they're going to have like a 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Celebration.
And I alluded to this last week, but this makes me so excited for the other mid-tier Cedar Fair parks. This gives me hope for Dorney, Valley Fair.
I think it's coming. Well, I mean, Cedar Fair said they're spending a record amount that they've ever spent, like $200 million in capital this year at the parks. Yeah. So there's probably stuff that we're not seeing. Like maybe, I saw that Kings Island didn't have an announcement, but maybe they're gonna paint Diamondback.
I think they said that at Coaster.
Diamondback is I think they did.
If
Which
not,
is
maybe
hasn't
they
been
will.
touched since.
I mean,
2009.
that's an expense. That's over probably $1 million.
And that's
$1 million.
Those are upgrades that the parks need, but
they don't need
Zambezi
to
Zinger.
They don't need to be like, oh hey,
no.
for 2023 we're painting Diamondback. No, yeah.
But Zambezi Zinger gives me hope for Michigan's Adventures, the Valley Fairs, and the Dorneys of the world. Like,
by the way, they're
this is good. This is
Worlds
really
of Fun. Their new 50th anniversary show or whatever is going to be called 50 Nights of Fire.
I saw that.
50 Nights of Fire.
Yeah.
Created for just a celebration, so that'll be really cool.
Well, hopefully it's the same team.
I think I need to get there next year.
Hopefully it's the same team that did Fun Fireworks at 50, because that show was just spectacular.
Kidding. Yeah, they're going to have a ton of stuff going on there. But that's awesome that they're getting a coaster for their actual anniversary year, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Nothing. Kings Island and Cedar Point didn't get that, so.
No.
Kings Island just got a lot of paint.
A lot of paint, but
which is okay.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite announcement of the day. And next up is, I think, the strangest announcement. Because if you remember a couple weeks ago, we talked about how this park was going to be closing in the very near future.
Oh my gosh.
And then today they announced, what did they even announce?
This is really weird.
Was it just a flat ride? A singular flat ride?
They announced earlier this year, like before the announcement that they were closing. Well, they didn't announce that, but you know what I mean. That they were getting a scrambler. Okay, cool. I don't think that ever actually opened because it sounds like they have now moved that to next year. And they are also, it sounds, if anybody who knows Great America history wants to chime in, they're getting something back called the Orbiter. It sounds like it was a ride that they're like refurbing or something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like the old Witch's Wheel that we had. And then they're also getting like new shows and year-round operations on weekends, which is like so out of left field.
I mean, I told you guys before the podcast, I just don't understand it, because if you're going to be closing the park with, say, 11 years, whatever, like, why are you putting in money like this when you know you're going to have to move it?
Obviously, this year's capital expenditure projects were already set into place before they sold the land. That wasn't something they had planned. It's still an odd move.
Stop that though, and like put it in a different park though. Maybe not.
You probably could, but on the same note, if people know that park is closing, there has to be something for them to keep buying that pass until it actually does close.
There's the winning answer right there. Yeah. That's got to be it. Yeah. This makes me feel good that they're not going to let the park just like fall apart. Maybe.
Also,
that's also what I was thinking too.
I never understood why they weren't year round. As a company that operates
literally
12, 13, 14 parks, and only has 2 that are able to operate year round. One of them was closed for 3 months because they used to have like a 3-month off season. I never understood that.
Even though a park further north than them, I think it's further north, Discovery Kingdom, is open year round and has been since. I mean, they haven't always been open year round, but it's been relatively.
No, but
recent.
Discovery Kingdom and Great America are 30 minutes away max.
Yeah, and like they've been doing year-round ops since like probably 2015 or 16. So Great America, hello. I mean, I'm talking back then. Why weren't they doing this? But I don't know. It's good to see. If I find myself in California, in the Bay Area in a random February, I know where I'll be.
I think everybody will before that place closes.
Yeah, CoasterCon 2024. Wasn't going to go to that one, but I think I am now.
Yeah, so that was the weirdest announcement of the day. And then up next, I think, is Evan's favorite. So I'll let you talk about it over at...
I think it's my favorite, too.
Charlotte.
Are we talking about Carowinds?
Yes, we are.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is... I don't even know, like, where to start. I guess, okay, so I'll just say what it is.
Why don't you start with what they're taking out? Or
okay.
I don't know if we talked about that.
I think we touched on it last week that they're ripping out the old yo-yo that was from Joggle Lake, so rip officially. The plants.
Well, now hold on a minute. I did see that it was not cut up. It was taken apart very carefully.
Yeah.
Michigan's Adventure, I have your new for 2023 ride.
Yeah, right.
So there's that. Whatever it's, at any rate, it's leaving Carowinds. And then there is the Plants vs. Zombies 3Z Arena Dark Ride Motion Simulator, whatever, shoot at the screen ride. They're getting rid of that. They're also getting rid of Southern Star, which is Ocean Motion, make it go upside down. And it is a terrible ride, and nobody will convince me otherwise. I will die on that. Looking at you, Karsten. So they're ripping those all out, and that's kind of a blah area of the park right now anyways, even with those rides operating. So they're totally revitalizing it, and the name of the area is completely escaping me right now.
Aeronautica Landing.
There we go. They're tying it in. Mouthful. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the name of the land, but they're tying it into Flight because it's Carolina, and that's where Flight originated or whatever.
Where is this going in the park?
So, like, under Afterburn, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like right next to Afterburn in that giant area that.
Okay, I see it.
Yep. People that would be over there.
I see it.
Yeah, it's always a weird empty where Rita's is, if that makes a difference to you, because I love Rita's.
Afterburn was a better help. I haven't been to Carowinds in 5 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so right there. There's a bunch of games over there, and then these rides, and Thunder Road's entrance was over there. I don't know if you.
Yep, I rode it in its last month of operation.
I rode it on its last day of operation.
Well, aren't you special?
My God.
Quick little sidebar. We were at Busch Gardens. It was a Sunday. We already had a trip planned to Busch Gardens and Carowinds and whatnot. We cut our trip. We were supposed to do Busch Gardens on Sunday. We only ended up doing a half day there so we could fly to Charlotte. We drove like 90 on the highway. We drove to Charlotte and got on Thunder Road the night it closed.
Jeez.
And we didn't even ride Fury that night, and that was our first time in the park. Wow. So we literally went there and rode Thunder Road, and I think I had time to get a lap on Afterburn. Anyways, so yeah, they're ripping all those rides out and putting in a set of 4 Zamperla. So it seems like we have a new favorite Cedar Fair company.
But they're literally retheming like.
Oh yeah, so the whole area is top to bottom rethemed to Flight, and it's. I don't even know. Like, you have to look at the renderings online. It looks so
looks good. Like they have like
it looks spectacular.
They've got like a like an airplane hangar kind of thing with like airplanes like flying above that are kind of like I think they're just hanging, but it looks like it's supposed to be like an airplane hangar that they're supposed to go get food and stuff. Which
the best thing I could compare it to is like Area 72, but bigger, and flat rise instead of Orion. Like that's the best thing I can compare it to.
Yeah.
So it looks so good, and then they're going to have 4 new Zamperla flat rides, an old Trabant ride, which we used to have at Cedar Point in Schwabingen, which is a mouthful to say. I'm not even going to try to explain these rides. The Zamperla Nebula Z, which is a weird spinning flat ride, a Zamperla Air Race, which is an inverting spinning flat ride, and a Disco, which is take pipes. Theirs is going to be Pipe Scream, like our Pipe Scream, but get rid of that middle pump.
Yeah, it's just one continuous.
Which I rode one like that at the IX Indoor Amusement Park one year, like this is probably 10 years ago, and it was really fun. So, and there's going to be a new food place too.
I was going to say that food place that is going to be called,
which is taking over
Terminal A.
Plants vs. Zombies, isn't it?
Yes.
It looks like it. Yeah.
The old action.
Terminal A is what it's going to be called, and then they're going to have like airdrop supply company with like a unique
souvenirs
and
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. It looks super good.
They're building
some high dog. I'm sure they got their stadium mustard there.
They're building some games too.
Yeah, I saw that. They made like kind of a weird big deal about that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but they're all like everything is themed. I feel like I'm almost in a Universal or
and this is continuing what Cedar Fair has been doing with first Area 72.
Yeah.
And then Jungle X at King's Dominion. Like they keep putting in these awesome immersive themed areas, and I love it. Like they need to keep going.
Well, I mean, going back to Cedar Point, I mean, I can't wait to see what that boardwalk's going to be themed, because they said it's going to be themed, and it's also going to be like there's going to be some kind of interactivity or something. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I imagine that area is not going to get fully done in 1 year. You know, it'll take a couple years for it to really.
You talking Cedar Point or Carroll's?
I mean both. I mean,
Jungle X too. Jungle X.
Yeah.
I mean, King's Dominion hasn't been shy about like, we're not done with this yet.
I feel like that's kind of the goal nowadays with the new Cedar Fair take on themed entertainment lands is
make multi-year projects.
Yes, multi-year projects, multiple experiences, which isn't a bad business model by any means.
No, because like you visit the 1 year and you're like, oh crap, they got a new coaster, we got to go there next.
Yeah, now I got to go back.
Yeah,
and this isn't a Hershey Family Entertainment podcast at Cedar Fair, but I do want to throw out that Dollywood did that same thing with Wildwood Grove.
Yeah, with
got delayed by COVID, but
Bear Hunter or whatever the hell they announced.
But also like the one that you said that looks like Pipe Scream, it's all like there's a giant plane on it, and like in the renderings, like it looks really cool. Like you got to go to Carowinds.com to check all this stuff out. Or
I pray that all this theming happens. Or this looks so good.
Go to the parks websites and check out everything, because there's just a ton to talk about, and we can't really talk and give you a visualization of it. So
yeah,
I am not good enough with words to be able to do that. So so definitely check out all the parks that we're talking about. Check out their website, and you'll be able to see that. So
yeah, well, in this week's announcement episode, we have 2 more parks to talk about. And we do. Next on the list is Canada's Wonderland.
This was so out of left field.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, wait, Canada Wonderland's getting something?
So I had tweet notifications set for every Cedar Fair park today, and
Canada's Wonderland,
even Canada's Wonderland, even California's Great America.
Okay.
I didn't have Schlitterbahn, but I had Michigan's Adventure, so I feel like that offsets it. And I'm sitting there at work today, and I get a notification. I'm like, oh, another announcement, or maybe it's another thing about the boardwalk or something. And then it's like, Canada's Wonderland, due for 2023. I'm like, what? Like, I forgot what.
There was no rumors.
So weird.
At least I don't think there was any rumors.
And it's okay. So we should probably talk about what they're getting.
Yeah.
Crazy weird flat ride. Don't even know how to explain it. Don't even really know what it is.
It looks like it's like one of those giant like Hoos or Huss, however you want to say it. But it looks like it spins and goes kind of like it goes like.
Don't they already have that with Soaring Timbers though?
And
is that what it's called? I don't know. They have a lot of flat rides.
This is how their website announces or describes it. Soar high above Frontier Canada on Tundra Twister, a giant looping ride with rotating gondola arms that will have guests spinning, twisting, and twirling 360 degrees upside down at heights of 47 meters and speeds of 75 kilometers per hour. This mechanical
my conversion thing out.
This mechanical marvel is the only attraction of its kind in the world and promises a unique thrill experience unlike any other.
Give me the kilometers and meters.
Meters is 47.
So for those of you at home, that is 154 feet.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, good God. Really?
My God.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting that.
That's insane. That's
speed,
like mildly terrifying.
The speed is 75 kilometers per hour.
So if everybody at home is thinking about that, that's equivalent to like, no, it's actually a little higher than what Max Air full swing is, I believe. I think that goes 125 feet.
This is in, I need miles per hour. kph to mph. Hold the phone. Sorry.
This is I could talk a little bit about it. It looks like it's going over there right next to their drop.
Yukon
Strike. I'm sorry, you said how many kilometers per hour?
75.
So that turns into 46 miles per hour. But for a ride of this, like, spinning that fast, is like, that's going to be intense.
Again,
gonna be,
go
like,
to their
nauseating.
website. Guys, go to their website for sure.
Do we even know who made this? What
I would have
brand?
I bet.
It's not.
I bet
it's
it's
the first of its kind, so there's no model out there.
I bet it's
Zamperla.
Zamperla.
I'm putting money on it. It's Zamperla.
They seem to have a
Zamperla or us.
Cedar Fair seems to have a really good relationship with Zamperla this year.
Yeah.
But also, Zamperla seems to be pushing the envelope and getting crazier and crazier, and they keep releasing, from Coaster Radio.
Absolutely.
They're like, well, Zamperla released another one this month, and so on and so forth. So
and in a kind of out of left field, we were talking about earlier, no one saw this coming. They announced another roller coaster.
Yes.
And much like their counterpart on the other side of Lake Erie, it is also their 18th roller coaster, meaning that Canada's Wonderland and Cedar Point are now neck and neck.
Yes, they are. And
that's the most that's the most in the chain, right? Like Cedar Point and
by far. They are tied for first at 18 across the board.
Very interesting indeed.
So, and this thing, it's a family coaster, but it's a family launch coaster by, and I've never heard of this company, Art Engineering.
I've never heard of them either.
I'm gonna look them up and see if they've built anything else.
But it goes 50 kilometers an hour. So.
Oh crap! Let me get that back out.
That's
50,
probably
31 miles an hour.
Okay, 31. So.
Art.
There's not a whole lot of like renderings of like what the layout looks like, unfortunately.
I've found one.
And it's kind of really crappy though. It doesn't like it shows a little bit, but it doesn't show a whole lot.
The banner on Art Engineering is Cannibal at Lagoon.
I was just gonna say, so I pulled them up on Roller Coaster Database. So they're doing Snoopy's Racing Railway, which I love that name for Canada's Wonderland next year. They also did Wonder Mountain's Guardian at Canada's Wonderland. And they did Cannibal at Lagoon. They did another one of Lagoon's coasters and a couple coasters overseas. So, I mean, they're not unknown.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. So, I mean,
yeah, cool.
And like what layout I did get to see. I mean, it looks like almost looked like a Woodstock Express-y kind of.
Yeah, the train is very similar because it has like the train on the front and the.
So there's one of the same exact model in what country is this? Austria.
Definitely.
And I mean, this park has it like super duper themed to crazy max, but it looks fun.
Yeah,
it looks cute.
But I was maybe a flat ride, but not a flat ride and a coaster at the same time. Like that came out.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not yes, it's a family launching coaster that's not very high or very fast, or that long even. It's probably only going to have one train, but like, it's going to be a fun little ride. It's not like a nothing ride.
Can we backpedal just a second? So, Kyle, you said Cedar Point's got 18 coasters. Well, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. I know what you're gonna say, right? And everyone's been saying it all day. Yes, I understand that in order for Cedar Point to have 18 roller coasters, that means Top Thrill Dragster has to reopen. I get that.
Maybe. Right?
Yes, it has to. But
wait. Tony did say there's more announcements in his tweet yesterday, so maybe they're going to announce.
Yeah. No. There has been no official word.
Foot giga coaster in the Lake area.
Yeah.
There has been no official word.
But
and like
he did say 18 in his press release, saying 18 coasters. So
you are right.
That's interesting. Did we say it on the podcast or we just say it amongst ourselves last week that that's not a fun announcement that they want to make one way or the other?
Yes.
So
we talked about that.
It's going to be a press release in like January, and it's just going to be Dragster's reopening and here's what we're doing, or no, Dragster's closing, future development.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
So that little tidbit. Anyways.
Yeah. That 18 reminded me of that. I was like, oh yeah. I remember everybody was like talking like, oh my gosh, Tony said 18.
Yeah, he did.
And then I was like, well, wait. And I'm like, oh yeah. Because they count pipes. They
do.
Pipes.
They count Pipe Scream as one. And I think they count. Did they count Gemini as two?
No, it counted.
No. Yes.
Okay.
No. I count it as two as my credit.
On their website, it counts it as one.
Okay.
I count Gemini as two.
Because currently everything that's listed, it says we currently have 17 roller coasters, and then when they add Wild Mouse, that takes them to 18.
Interesting. Right. So this brings up a question. Oh God, this is such a darky conversation. Is the new ride at Carowinds, which I don't believe they actually gave names, the pipe screen like ride at Carowinds, even though is that going to be considered a coaster?
I imagine so.
Because they didn't really say a new roller coaster. They just said 4 new rides. Actually, they said 5 because they're rethemed the bumper cars. But
I mean, Cedar Point calling Pipe Scream a roller coaster was a save face attempt at keeping the record away from Magic Mountain when Pipe Scream was built.
During the era that Six Flags was calling all the Super Loops roller coasters.
Yes. And I don't really think Carowinds necessarily cares about that.
No.
I think
they're not in that business.
I think internally, externally,
they're saying on the thing it says a rotating ride.
That's a way of putting it.
Yeah.
That's definitely a way of putting it.
So, interesting. But yeah, I think Kyle's dead on that.
I think for categorizing purposes, I think eventually they will call it a roller coaster, but for now it doesn't. It doesn't add to the press release any to call it a roller coaster.
So is it a new credit for me? That's what I'm getting to.
I don't know.
Am I allowed to call it a credit?
Look, I don't know how you count credits, but my personal system is if RCDB counts it, then so do I.
Okay.
So does RCDB, does it count Pipe Scream as a coaster?
It does.
Does it really?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm looking it up.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm like the I don't know what you call it, data person on the show.
Oh, I don't think they do.
Oh my god, they don't.
Interesting.
Well, too bad. I am calling it a coaster. I go on the
That'll put
Evan
Kyle
Schultz.
right back at 300.
I am on the Evan Schultz system of deciding things here.
Yeah, I got some recalculating to do here.
Yeah, he'll be like, "Oh crap, I'm not at 300 anymore. I'm at 299."
Well,
and you also have Surf Dog at Kings Island.
I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, my world is crumbling.
And yeah, because you just said, that's
and you know what?
That's your Bible, so
it is.
You've ridden Cosmic Chaos at Kennywood, which is a UFO version. You've ridden the Tiki Twirl. I think that's what it's called, Tiki Twirl at Great America.
I haven't been to Great America.
California's Great America.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant
the Pipe Scream, but with a UFO.
Yeah.
Oh.
You rode that, I'm sure.
For
whatever reason, I never counted the UFO.
You're just killing Kyle's numbers now.
Oh my god!
I'm killing my own numbers to it, or adding to my numbers.
So how many
If
roller
anybody's
coasters?
watching this live, they're gonna love Kyle's face. But if anybody's listening, his mouth just dropped when Evan just said all that.
I live within an hour of 10 parks. There's got to be like 4 rides I haven't ridden in this damn state.
He's about to go to all these different parks tomorrow.
I need Icebreaker, Iron Gwazi. There's 2 right there.
You haven't even been to SeaWorld yet?
No, I think.
Well, there you go.
Saturday.
SeaWorld, you're gonna go there tomorrow and get off the coaster.
And you'll ride their surf coaster next year.
New 300th. We'll picture tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been holding off on going to SeaWorld because Dean and Abby, since they're teachers, they get free admission to SeaWorld. So I wanted to go with them, and they just got their employee IDs today. So I think we're gonna go on Saturday.
And you don't have a pass, so.
I'm expecting a new 300th coaster picture.
Okay, yeah, I'll see what I can do.
But count your 3.
All right, let's jump back on to Canada's Wonderland here, or were we done talking about that?
I think
we were done about
them. We were done.
All right, so
I said all I needed to say.
Okay, so we have one more park to talk about, and that is Knott's Berry Farm.
A park I know nothing about.
Buena Park, California. So they are not really adding or removing anything. They are giving a complete overhaul to the area of the park they call Fiesta Village.
I mean, when we say overhaul, like it
looks so good.
It looks really like there's like a 2-minute walkthrough rendering. And
yeah,
you can see like everything that they're. I've never been to the park, but everything that like they were showing.
I don't have a basis of what it used to look or what it looks like right now, but it looks like it's going to look great.
I've been twice, so I guess I'm taking point on this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Fiesta Village, when you walk into Knott's Berry Farm and you turn to the right, that's where Montezuma's Revenge is, which was the Schwarzkopf shuttle loop with the flywheel launch. That's where that one of those really long kiddie coasters are. I don't remember the name of it.
Jaguar.
Yes. And I
do know that much about it.
A couple different food places, stuff like that. Montezuma's Revenge was closed earlier in the year. Not closed permanently, but closed to be redone.
Isn't it getting a new name?
Yeah,
somewhat.
It's getting a new name. Hold on,
Monte. It's like weird. It's really weird.
It's like I thought it said Forbidden Forest at first, but it's
Montezuma, the Forbidden Fortress.
Forbidden Fortress, yes.
I don't like that.
So part of its overhaul is we're assuming they're going to redo the launch system because one of the things they announced is that it's going to be completely randomized, whether you're going to start the ride going forward or start the ride going backward.
Which is going to be cool. I don't know how they're really going to... I don't know how the physics of that's going to work out. Because, like, that back spike is right against the station. And if you launch forward, you have some leeway and then the loop and then some more.
Maybe if you give the guy like a $5 or $20 bill and you're like, hey, I want to go backwards, so he'll be like, all right, cool, you're going backwards, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be cool. And I'm sure it's going to be a nice fancy new launch system like the coasters that are built today, like LSMs or whatever.
Yeah. Having been to Knott's Berry Farm twice, I will say that area of the park looked the worst, and it was in the most desperate need of repair out of any area that I saw. So I'm really
I didn't know any parts of Knott's really were crappy though.
Now, my question is so are you going to miss, like, because you've been there, so are you going to miss the flywheel launch if
I've never even been on a flywheel launch. Does it feel any different?
Was it fun or was it
It's fun. It's very intense.
Really?
But
so it's literally just a weight drop, isn't it?
Yes.
We're
like that.
So is it
the catapult?
Is it getting, like, they're getting rid of that, or are they?
Well, I would assume they have to, because a flywheel system can't decipher which way to launch.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Just that's what made me think that they were.
It's going to be LSMs. That's the only thing I could think of, because that's what Intamin's doing right now with Pantheons of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm sad that I didn't get to ride that launch then, since you said it was really intense.
I will miss that launch, but
is that the most intense launch that you've been on?
He really hasn't been on Max Force if he says yes.
I've not been on Max Force. I mean, I will say the thing that makes it so intense is, I mean, it was decently fast, but it's a short track too. I mean, you're going right into that loop.
That's cool. That's cool.
The only thing I distinctly remember about the ride is the loop shook a lot. Like, like Wicked Twister would shimmy. And the loop would move back and forth. And I remember...
by the way, I noticed that really badly on Steel Curtain, too.
Yeah, I remember I distinctly remember being completely upside down and moving to the left.
Oh my gosh, you could feel it when you're on it.
Well, hopefully they're redoing the supports.
I do believe that the loop got torn down and is being rebuilt. So,
it operated since the 70s and never fell apart. So,
operated 365 days a year because Knott's is open.
And in that crazy hot blaring sun, and
not that
the sun really has anything to do with steel, but
I think all around, this was a really good investment. It's going to take that area of the park and turn it into something good again. And I think
the pictures look amazing. So.
I think that's kind of the theme with Cedar Fair 2023.
Spruce everything up. Yeah, I agree. And I'm here for it. I like it.
And the things that weren't announced, I'm excited to see what happens, like park chain wide, I guess you could say.
So
I definitely don't think we're done yet. I think we'll hear a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And I also think it's time to start speculating for 2024, right?
Can we at least take 1 week off? My God.
No,
yes. We should have, like, not next week, not even maybe this month or whatever, but like we should have a way too early Cedar Fair 2024
just
prediction.
That'd be kind of cool.
Go through every park and just do like quick hits with it.
Like let's just add this up real quick. Like what do you so everything that's been announced so far, they said they're spending over $200 million. What do you think they're at right now with everything that's been announced?
I don't know, how much money are they putting in direction?
Right.
That we don't know.
If it comes back, or if they have to tear it down, whatever, But
I think tearing it down will cost them more money than whatever they would have to do to make it like safe again.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Knott's maybe what? Say what? Maybe 20 million? Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe.
I think Montezuma
depends on what type of launch it is.
Maybe 30 millions for Carowinds, all of that, maybe.
That's probably the big expensive one, to be honest. I bet what Carowinds is doing costs more than Sam Singer.
and then
Carowinds is just so themed.
And then you've also got, Canada's Wonderland. You've got that crazy ride, and then that new coaster. That's probably what?
And whatever random new parts it's going to need because it's a new ride.
15 million, 20 million, maybe. I mean, and then Cedar Points. I mean, that's got to be maybe.
They don't have a lot left over, is what we're getting at here.
Maybe 10. No, I think they do. I think they have like.
Well, what you just added up is already pushing over 100 million.
I think they're probably at like 100 to 150 million. I think they still have 50 million left in the bank. I could be super wrong.
And this is totally like baseless. I mean,
this is just
you don't read everything. You don't believe everything you read on the internet. But I did see on Twitter multiple times today that Kings Island is supposedly still going to make an announcement later on. And it's like, okay, what's that going to be? A flat ride for the slingshot spot? Maybe. I don't know. Or is that's? I'm not giving that any. I'm taking that with the biggest grain of salt I could possibly take it with.
Or maybe they're gonna. I mean, maybe Kings Island could be like, you know what, we're gonna have a bigger Winterfest, and it's gonna be like a Winterfest, like
open another coaster. Open another coaster, please.
But I don't know. It's interesting to think because I mean, everything that they've announced so far as the parks, like if they're spending around 200 million, then I think there's still some things that are unsaid yet, which is pretty promising.
Yeah,
people around. So
I just like the direction Cedar Fair as a whole is going in right now.
Yeah,
this year was a lot of things that were necessary, but things that also might not have been the coolest thing to market as coming in 2023. So I think in that aspect, it's really good.
Maybe
stuff the GP is probably going to be like, meh, but in general, well, okay. You know what? Can I say something? So I was listening to a radio show on my way home from work today, just like a local radio show in Cleveland. They talk about everything and anything. Total, like they are the definition of general public. And all three hosts were like, Cedar Point is getting this, blah, 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 blah. It looks really fun. I wouldn't get on it because I'm going to puke on a spinning ride, said one guy. But then another guy's like, all three of them agreed, this looks really fun and people are going to like it. And that's coming from I go to the park once a year or one weekend at Breakers type person.
Well, that's
who they're appealing to right now.
I had one of my coworkers, doesn't go at all to Cedar Point, was like, oh, check that out. There's a new spinning coaster, like going to Cedar Point. Like, I think I maybe like want to visit for, because why not?
So they're not, as much as we want to believe they don't cater to enthusiasts.
No.
They are catering to the person on the radio show I heard today and your coworker that, wow, that looks really fun. The whole area looks really cute. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, right. Enthusiasts.
And drink at the bar.
Enthusiasts aren't the ones that spend the money at the park. It's the families.
And enthusiasts are going to go to the park pretty much no matter what.
No matter what they do, enthusiasts are going to complain anyway, so who cares what they think?
Exactly. So everyone's going to complain and be like, oh, we didn't get, like, hey, you got a coaster, and we also got the Grand Pavilion. There's something to do late at night for hotel guests now, which will be great.
And now my speculation is they're just going to go rip out Corkscrew, piss you off even more. So
yeah, we'll have to start taking pictures of Corkscrew now.
Well, the current trend.
Scrambler area.
The current trend. No coaster can be added without taking one out. So what's next?
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
I love it.
We'll start that speculation next week too.
Yeah, right.
I do really want to, like, sometime in like September to be like, all right, way too early predictions for 2024. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, we could do something like that, I think.
Then revisit it in like June of next year.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be fun. So,
well, I know this was a weird kind of episode where we're not really doing news, but I mean we kind of are doing news, but just announcements.
It's all news. It's all news that we've all heard, but we got to talk about it.
It's all news, but it's mostly just announcements. So does anybody have anything else to add with that?
No. Go Cheese Car 2023.
Go Cheese Car 2023. I know personally that's going to be the only one I wait for.
Yep. I'm going to request that car.
Well, we want to thank you all for sticking around and listening to us for another week. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're also working on how to get on iHeartRadio. And if you're not already subscribed on Facebook, go ahead and do that. We will talk to you guys next week with all the new news coming out for 2023 and everything else. We will talk to you guys next week. We'll see you on the Midway. Be kind to your ride-ups. Good night.
Good night, y'all.